Stop what you're doing right now, because what I'm about to share with you could completely change how you walk, how you climb stairs, and how independent you remain for the next 20 years of your life. Most seniors are doing everything right. The stretches, the walks, maybe even the physical therapy. And yet their legs keep getting weaker, their balance keeps getting worse, and nobody is telling them the real reason why. The truth is, the battle for your leg strength isn't won in the gym. It's won in the kitchen. And the 7 foods I'm going to share with you today are the ones that almost no one over the age of 60 is eating consistently. And that is a tragedy, because the science behind each one of them is extraordinary. A landmark study published by researchers at Tufts University followed over 4,000 adults aged 60 and older for 12 years, and what they found stopped the scientific community in its tracks. The participants who consistently consumed specific muscle-supporting nutrients experienced up to 41% less leg muscle loss compared to those who didn't, and they had a 63% lower risk of what doctors call dynapenia, which simply means age-related muscle weakness, 63%. That is not a small number. That is the difference between someone who can get up off the floor by themselves and someone who cannot. And the foods responsible for those results are not expensive superfoods from a specialty store. Most of them are sitting in your grocery store right now, probably costing less than $2. Now, I need to warn you, number 2 on this list is going to genuinely surprise you. Most people have been told to avoid it for decades, and the latest research completely overturns that advice when it comes to seniors specifically. So make sure you stay all the way to the end, because that one item alone could be the missing piece you've been looking for. But before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments right now. Tell me how old you are and what's your biggest challenge with your legs right now. Is it weakness, stiffness, pain going upstairs? I read every single comment personally, and your answer helps me make sure I'm covering exactly what you need. Let's get into it. Starting at number 7, and this one might seem simple, but the science behind it for aging legs is absolutely profound. We're talking about beets, not beet juice from a powder, not a beet-flavored supplement, actual beets, either roasted, boiled, or as cold-pressed juice from whole beets. Here is what makes beets almost magical for seniors specifically. Beets are loaded with a compound called dietary nitrates, and when you consume them, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is essentially a signal your blood vessels receive telling them to widen and relax. Think of your legs' blood vessels like garden hoses. As we age, those hoses get stiffer, narrower, and less flexible, meaning less blood, less oxygen, and fewer nutrients reach your leg muscles. Nitric oxide is like turning up the water pressure and widening the hose at the same time. A study from the University of Exeter found that older adults who consumed beet juice before exercise had a remarkable 11% improvement in muscle efficiency, meaning their muscles did more work using less oxygen. After age 70, your mitochondria, those are the tiny energy factories inside each of your muscle cells. They lose up to 30% of their efficiency. Beets help compensate for that loss in a way almost nothing else can. I recommend either roasting beets 2 to 3 times a week or drinking 4 to 8 ounces of cold-pressed beet juice about 90 minutes before any physical activity. Pair beets with a small amount of vitamin C. A squeeze of lemon works perfectly, because vitamin C dramatically enhances nitrate absorption in your gut. The scientific references for everything I'm sharing today are listed in the description below. Number 6 is one that I've been recommending to patients for years, and the results never stop impressing me. Canned sardines. I know, I can already hear some of you saying you'll never eat a sardine. But hear me out for 60 seconds, because this tiny fish is one of the most complete leg-strengthening foods that exists on this planet, and it is incredibly affordable. Margaret, a 73-year-old retired teacher from Knoxville, Tennessee, came to me struggling with what she described as legs that felt like they were made of concrete by 3 in the afternoon. She had difficulty climbing the stairs in her home and had started holding the railing with both hands. Within 4 months of adding sardines twice a week to her diet, along with a few other changes, her grip strength on that railing had gone from desperate to optional. She told me she walked to her mailbox and back and realized halfway through that she hadn't even thought about her legs. Here is why sardines are so powerful for seniors. First, they are one of the richest sources of omega-3 fatty acids on Earth, and omega-3s directly combat the chronic low-grade inflammation that silently eats away at leg muscle tissue in people over 60. Researchers at Washington University School of Medicine found that omega-3 supplementation increased the rate of muscle protein synthesis. That's the process of building and repairing muscle by 25% in adults over 65. But sardines don't just give you omega-3s. They give you complete protein, calcium, vitamin D, and vitamin B12 all in a single can. After age 65, your body's ability to absorb B12 from food drops significantly, and B12 deficiency is directly linked to nerve damage in the legs, causing that burning, tingling, or weakness that so many seniors describe. One can of sardines contains over 90% of your daily B12 needs. Eat them on whole grain crackers, mash them into avocado, or mix them into a warm pasta dish. Pair them with any leafy green for enhanced calcium absorption and to maximize that anti-inflammatory effect in your leg muscles. Number 5 is something you may already be eating, but almost certainly not enough of, and probably not at the right time of day. Eggs. And specifically, I want to talk about the whole egg, yolk and all, because the yolk is where most of the leg strengthening power lives. For decades, seniors were told to avoid egg yolks because of cholesterol concerns. And that advice cost millions of people the most bioavailable source of leucine outside of meat. Leucine is the specific amino acid, think of it as the ignition key, that switches on muscle protein synthesis in your body. Without enough leucine at each meal, your body simply does not activate the muscle building process no matter how much protein you eat overall. This is called anabolic resistance, and it gets dramatically worse after age 70. Younger people can trigger muscle building with a smaller amount of protein. Seniors need a larger leucine-rich dose at each sitting to get the same signal. Research from the University of Toronto showed that seniors who consumed 2 whole eggs with each meal had 39% greater muscle protein synthesis compared to those eating egg whites alone. The yolk also contains choline, which supports the nerve signals between your brain and your leg muscles, essentially the communication cables that tell your legs to move with precision and balance. 2 to 3 whole eggs per day is the target. The best time is breakfast, because starting your day with a leucine-rich protein source sets the muscle-building tone for the next several hours. Pair eggs with a slice of smoked salmon or a small amount of cheese for an even greater amino acid surge that aging muscles respond to powerfully. Number 4. And this one often surprises people because it sounds too plain, too ordinary to be medicinal. Plain Greek yogurt, not the flavored kind loaded with sugar. Full-fat plain Greek yogurt. A single cup of plain Greek yogurt contains between 17 and 20 grams of complete protein, but what makes it uniquely powerful for leg muscles in seniors is that it contains 2 types of protein simultaneously, whey and casein. Whey protein is fast digesting, meaning it floods your muscles with amino acids quickly. Casein is slow digesting and keeps feeding your muscles for hours afterward. For aging legs that are fighting a constant battle against muscle breakdown, this combination is extraordinary. Robert, a 68-year-old retired firefighter from Portland, Oregon, told me his legs had become so weak after his knee surgery that he'd started using a cane just to walk to his car. His doctor had cleared him for activity, but his legs simply weren't responding to his physical therapy the way they should have. We added plain Greek yogurt every evening before bed, and I'll explain why evening in a moment. And within 6 weeks, his therapist noted a measurable increase in his quad strength. He left the cane at home for the first time in 8 months on a Tuesday afternoon and described it as feeling like getting a piece of himself back. The reason evening is important is that your body does the majority of its muscle repair and rebuilding during sleep. Casein protein consumed 30 to 45 minutes before bed provides a slow, steady stream of amino acids throughout the night, directly supporting that overnight recovery. Greek yogurt also contains probiotics, and a healthy gut microbiome has been shown in studies at Stanford to improve the absorption of protein and minerals, specifically in adults over 60, by up to 32%. Pair your evening Greek yogurt with a small handful of tart cherries or a drizzle of raw honey because the natural compounds in tart cherries reduce overnight muscle inflammation and enhance recovery even further. Right here, Between number 4 and number 3, I want to take a quick moment. If this information is helping you or someone you love, please hit that like button right now. It genuinely helps this channel reach more seniors who need to hear this. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it right now. I put out new content every week focused entirely on helping people over 60 live stronger, more independent, more joyful lives. Hit subscribe and tap that bell so you never miss a video. Now, let's get into the top 3, and this is where things get really powerful. Number 3 is something that has been eaten for thousands of years and is only now being fully understood by modern science when it comes to aging muscles. Lentils. 1 cup of cooked lentils contains 18 grams of plant-based protein and an astonishing 15 grams of fiber. But what puts lentils in this top 3 is something called resistant starch. Resistant starch feeds your gut bacteria in a way that produces short-chain fatty acids. And those fatty acids have been shown in research from King's College London to directly reduce the inflammatory proteins that attack leg muscle tissue in adults over 65. Chronic inflammation, the kind you can't feel but that burns quietly inside your body for years, is one of the primary drivers of accelerated muscle loss in seniors, and lentils fight it from the inside. Dorothy, a 79-year-old grandmother of 6 from Scottsdale, Arizona, had been struggling with swollen ankles and legs that felt unbearably heavy every evening. Her cardiologist had cleared her heart, her rheumatologist found no arthritis progression, and yet she could barely make it through a family dinner without needing to sit down. When she began eating lentil soup 3 times a week, within 10 weeks, her inflammatory markers, specifically a protein called C-reactive protein, had dropped by 28% according to her blood work, and the heaviness in her legs had decreased to the point where she danced at her granddaughter's quinceañera. She sent me a video. I still watch it when I need to be reminded why this work matters. After age 75, your body loses up to 35% of its ability to regulate inflammatory responses in muscle tissue. Lentils provide the fiber and resistant starch that your gut needs to do that job again. A half cup to 1 full cup of cooked lentils 3 to 4 times per week is the target. Cook them with turmeric and black pepper because the combination of lentils' resistant starch with curcumin from turmeric creates a compounded anti-inflammatory effect that researchers describe as synergistic, meaning the two together are more powerful than either one alone. Number 2, and I told you this one was going to surprise you. Whole milk. Full-fat, regular, whole cow's milk. For the past 30 years, seniors have been told to switch to skim milk, low-fat milk, 2% on anything but whole milk. And in terms of leg muscle health specifically, that was a costly mistake. A study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition tracked over 1,000 adults aged 60 to 85 for 5 years and found that those who consumed whole milk had significantly greater preservation of lower body muscle mass compared to those consuming reduced fat versions. The reason comes down to fat-soluble vitamins. Vitamins D, K2, and A are all found in the fat of whole milk. And when you remove the fat, you lose those vitamins almost entirely. And without vitamin D and K2 working together, your body cannot properly utilize calcium to maintain the bone density that supports your legs from the inside out. But here is what makes this even more fascinating for aging bodies specifically. The natural fat in whole milk appears to slow the digestion of milk's casein protein, creating a more gradual amino acid release that aging muscles, which process protein more slowly due to anabolic resistance are actually better equipped to absorb. Think of it like the difference between flooding a dry field all at once versus a slow, steady irrigation. Older muscles need that steady drip. 1 to 2 cups of whole milk per day, ideally divided between morning and before bed, gives you calcium, vitamin D, complete protein, and the fat-soluble vitamins your legs need. Pair whole milk with a banana because the potassium in banana directly supports the electrical signals your nerves use to contract your leg muscles with proper force and coordination. And now number 1, the single most powerful, most underused, most scientifically validated food for leg strength in seniors, and the one that almost nobody over 60 is eating enough of. Wild-caught salmon. Not farmed salmon when possible, wild-caught salmon. The difference matters because wild-caught salmon contains significantly higher concentrations of astaxanthin, which is the natural compound that gives salmon its deep pink color and is one of the most powerful antioxidants ever studied in relation to skeletal muscle. Research from Hokkaido University in Japan, and I have this study linked in the description, found that astaxanthin supplementation in adults over 60 produced a 40% reduction in exercise-induced muscle damage and a dramatic improvement in muscle endurance in the lower limbs specifically. 40%. That means that when you go for a walk, climb stairs, or do your exercises, your leg muscles sustain less damage and recover faster when astaxanthin is present. After age 65, your muscle's own antioxidant defense system, your body's ability to clean up the cellular damage caused by physical activity, declines by up to 45%. Wild-caught salmon essentially steps in and does that job for you. But astaxanthin is only one reason salmon is number one. Salmon is also the richest natural source of a specific omega-3 called DHA, which has been shown to directly cross into muscle cell membranes and improve their fluidity, meaning your muscle cells become more responsive to the signals that tell them to contract and strengthen. James, a 71-year-old retired engineer from Denver, Colorado, had lost so much strength in his legs over 3 years that he'd been forced to give up hiking, the activity that had defined his retirement. He was heartbroken. We focused heavily on wild-caught salmon twice a week combined with the other items on this list. And at the 4-month mark, he sent me a photograph. He was standing at the top of a trail he'd thought he'd never see again. He was smiling so hard you could barely see his eyes. He wrote on the back, "Legs didn't quit, neither did I." Aim for 2 to 3 servings of wild-caught salmon per week, with each serving being 4 to 6 ounces. Prepare it simply. Baked or pan-seared with olive oil and garlic preserves the most nutritional value. The single best synergy tip I can give you is to eat your salmon with a side of steamed broccoli and a drizzle of olive oil, because the combination of salmon's vitamin D, broccoli's vitamin K, and olive oil's oleocanthal, a natural anti-inflammatory compound, creates a 3-way synergistic effect on leg muscle and bone health that no single food can replicate alone. Now I want to speak to you directly for just a moment, because I think you deserve more than just a list of foods. I think you deserve to understand what is actually at stake here. Your legs are not just muscles. They are your freedom. They are your ability to walk to the park with your grandchildren, to travel somewhere you've always dreamed of going, to live in your own home on your own terms for as long as you choose. Every year, hundreds of thousands of older adults lose significant leg strength and never get it back. Not because it was inevitable, but because no one told them what to eat, when to eat it, or why it mattered so specifically for aging bodies. The science is clear, the foods are accessible, and it is never, ever too late to start. Whether you are 62 or 82, your muscles retain the ability to respond, to rebuild, and to grow stronger when you give them the right fuel. The body's capacity for resilience, even at 80 years old, continues to astonish me after decades in medicine. You are not too old. You are not too far gone. You are simply not eating the right things yet, and now you know what they are. If you found this video valuable, please subscribe to this channel right now and hit the bell notification so you never miss a video. Every single week, I'm here sharing the research that your doctor may not have time to explain, the nutrition science that can genuinely change the way you feel in your body every single day. And before you go, I want to ask you one final question in the comments below. Which of these 7 foods are you going to add to your diet first? And which one surprised you the most? Tell me down below. I read every comment, and I look forward to hearing how these changes transform the strength and freedom you feel in your legs. I'll see you in the next one. Take care of yourself, because you absolutely deserve to.